On this episode of Cape Media News, Cape Codders mourn those they've lost to COVID-19. The Cape Cod Family Table Collaborative brings us inside their new headquarters at Riverway Lobster House in South Yarmouth. We learn about oral rabies vaccine distribution, and Kind Hearts for Kids give back to kids in need. These stories and more, this is Cape Media News. You're watching Cape Media News, your local, authentic newscast for Cape Cod. I'm Gabrielle Rawson. Thank you for joining us. Summer is just around the corner, and to get ready for it, the town of Barnstable is reinstalling barrier blocks to modify and expand outdoor public areas and dining space along Main Street in Hyannis. Like last year, one of the two traffic lanes will close and be accessible to pedestrians from Center Street to C Street all summer long. The town plans to make this conversion the second week of May, between May 10th and May 13th, during the night as weather permits. If you're looking for things to do on Main Street this summer, visit hyannismainstreet.com. The 2021 Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award has finally been announced. Wendy Northcross, who served as Chief Executive Director of the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce for more than 30 years, was recommended for the award on account of her strong work ethic, positive impact on the community, and devotion to Cape Cod. The Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award was created in 2002 as a way to recognize women who illustrate strong leadership in our community. Northcross will receive her award from Mimi McConnell, last year's award recipient, on Wednesday, June 2nd at 7 p.m. at the Tales of Cape Cod. Do you have a heart for kids in your community? Well, so do the founders of Kind Hearts for Kids, an organization dedicated to helping children in foster care. We sat down with the president and vice president of Kind Hearts for Kids to learn more about the work they're doing and how to get involved. Emily Tulloch reports.
Hello, you're watching Cape Media News. I'm Emily Tulloch. Today's guests are Nicole Mitchell and Sue Murphy, the president and vice president of Kind Hearts for Kids, and we're going to learn about the important work they're doing for children in the foster care system on Cape Cod. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Now, can you tell us about your mission at Kind Hearts for Kids?
We're based in Bourne, Massachusetts, and we started out, our mission was to plan birthday parties for kids in foster care. Kind of had a slow start with that, so we started doing birthday bags. We work with DCF offices in Hyannis, Plymouth, and New Bedford, and they would kind of give us lists of gender, age, and we would put a bunch of birthday bags together for them. February of this year, we moved from our storage unit to our own office in Bourne. So now we have kind of a toy store set up where the parents can come in and build bags for the kids because they know better what the kids like than we do. And we're allowing the kids to come in and make their own birthday bags as well and pick what they want. And that's just super fun to watch.
Now, why do you both believe that this service is important for children in the foster care system and for our community as a whole as well?
As you can imagine, these children really have been through a lot and that are in the system, and they suffer trauma, loss, and it is really, really important that we have stepped in to make sure that no child is forgotten. We want to provide them with joy, kindness, compassion. And one of the really great things is that not only are we giving them some hope, but we're giving them really fun events to look forward to, like Nicole mentioned. In terms of the community awareness, we are just thrilled with all of our community partners. We have a lot of involvement. It looks different every day, but we have a lot of individuals that we interact with, and they may do something like help us fulfill an Amazon wish list, or adopt a family for a holiday, Christmas, Easter, things like that. We have a new program of kindness ambassadors in the community, and that can be somebody that's helping us to carry and transport items and scurry from one end of the Cape to the other. That's been very successful and growing every day. And then we have our corporate sponsors, and then we have even more community partners. We work with some agencies, DCF, the Department of Children and Families, and then we have a lot of like-minded nonprofits that we're just continuing to find and network with.
This is a wonderful service that you're providing for the children in our community who need it the most. And if our viewers at home are interested in helping support this cause, where can they go for more information?
Our Facebook group is called Kind Hearts for Kids, Inc. And we have social workers, foster families, donors, everybody interacts in that group. We do have a Facebook page, but we don't post a lot there. We usually post our events and stuff there. And then we have a new website, kindheartsforkids.org, and families can go there to register for events and see what we're doing.
We are happy to keep building this community. Anybody that wants to join, we welcome it. The more the merrier, and the more children and families we can reach and help.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us today and for explaining all the important work that you are doing in our community for the children. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
for
much.
having us.
To learn more about Kind Hearts for Kids, visit kindheartsforkids.org. Up next, Cape Cod mourns those they've lost to COVID-19.
Give me a moment. You've always protected me.
Thanks, Dad.
Every day of my life.
Hold on there, buddy, hold on.
I'm older now, but I still need you.
Kids are getting addicted to prescription pain pills.
Can you still protect me?
You can protect them. Kids who talk with their parents about opioids are less likely to misuse them. When you have conversations about drugs and alcohol, make sure you talk about the risks of prescription pain pills too. Find out what you can say.
It's been a year of loss for the Cape Cod community. More than 450 Barnstable County residents have lost their lives to COVID-19. To honor these victims, local resident Denise Harris planted 461 flags at the Hyannis Rotary in Hyannis. One of those flags was for her very own father. The flag display is a touching tribute that is quickly gaining attention in the community. Emily Tulloch reports.
In just over a year, 3 million people globally have lost their lives to COVID-19. Massachusetts has seen nearly 18,000 deaths, and on a local level, that number is over 400 in Barnstable County. In a touching tribute to honor the Cape Cod victims of COVID, resident Denise Harris has planted 461 flags in the Hyannis Rotary, a project she was inspired to do after losing her own family member to the virus.
Unfortunately, my father was a COVID victim. He passed away in January due to it. It was pretty sudden. He went 11 days with no symptoms at all. So we thought he was kind of, coming to the end of it. And then unfortunately on the 12th day, I was at work and I called him. He sounded delirious. He couldn't finish a sentence. So we called the ambulance for him. And 10 days later, he passed away at Cape Cod Hospital. So from that point on, my world was kind of turned upside down. We were very close. I was a daddy's girl. I'm an only child. So I wanted to do something, in his memory. And then when I realized that there was nothing that had been done for all the rest of the victims on Cape Cod, that's what started an idea of doing some type of memorial, for him as well as all the other victims and their families. Knowing how it feels, I know firsthand how the other families are feeling. So,
do you think that you'll be planting more flags as, unfortunately, the numbers will rise over time? Do you anticipate on going back and adding more? Or is it just kind of like one statement right now?
Every few days, I'll go and I'll check it. And unfortunately, if the numbers do go up, I will put more flags as they come. Hopefully, it'll just be me checking them and not putting any more flags. But if that does happen, until June 6th, I'll put as many flags as needed.
And now, what do you hope that our Cape Cod community takes away from this project?
My main goal was for the family members, when they ride around the Rotary, just to know that their loved ones aren't just a statistic, they're not just a number, and they are being thought of and they are being remembered, and that they're not in this alone. When you see the number or you hear the number in the paper and the media, I think that it doesn't resonate as well as if you see it as a whole. You know, when you go around the Rotary and see all the different flags, then it's a little easier to put in perspective, while there were that many people that passed away from it, rather than hearing the number.
Absolutely. Well, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
If you'd like to see the COVID victim flag memorial in person, you can find it by visiting the Hyannis Rotary. Well, you may not know this, but oral rabies vaccine distribution is keeping the rabies virus in our wildlife at bay, protecting you and your pets from contracting the deadly disease. Earlier this week, the Cape Cod and Southeast Massachusetts Rabies Task Force began dropping oral rabies vaccine baits into densely populated areas by helicopter. They've also set up bait stations in and around Cape Cod. I met with wildlife and rabies biologist Brian Bjorklund to learn more about this amazing program. Cape Media News reports.
If it's been a while since you've heard about the rabies virus running rampant, that's because the United States Department of Agriculture's Wildlife Service's National Rabies Management Program and the Cape Cod and Southeast Massachusetts Rabies Task Force have been hard at work distributing oral rabies vaccinations to reduce rabies in our wildlife.
So this has been a long-running program on the Cape. As everybody knows, the Cape attracts millions of people every year from all over the world, and they come with their pets. And we don't want them getting into an altercation with a wild animal on the Cape and then going home, who knows where, and potentially spreading, rabies where it currently is not endemic.
Rabies virus is a disease that infects the central nervous system of both pets and people. A single bite from a rabid animal usually means death. That's why prevention is so important.
If a person were to contract rabies, is nearly 100% fatal. So it's not anything that you want to mess around with. So vaccinating wildlife where we can and when we can is extremely important.
Vaccine baits, which are distributed at bait stations and by way of helicopter by the tens of thousands, have a strong fishy smell that attract raccoons.
So we're using two different bait formats. One is the coated sachet bait. It's like a small ketchup packet. And it has a fish meal crumble on the outside. And that is really effective at attracting raccoons. And this is called the fish meal polymer block bait. And this is what we use on occasion by helicopter, roadside baiting to throw them into the woods, and by bait stations. These are much more easy to use in the bait stations.
Bait stations in southern Plymouth and mainland Barnstable counties were supplied with baits on May 3rd. Aerial operations in areas over South Kingston, East Plymouth, Sandwich, and Bourne are ongoing through June 4th, as weather permits.
Eventually, we have a goal of being raccoon rabies free on the eastern seaboard of the United States by 2053.
To find out when oral rabies vaccine distribution will happen in your town, call 508-476-2956 or follow Cape Cod and Southeast Massachusetts Rabies Task Force on Facebook. For Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
Although people and pets cannot get rabies from contact with the baits, the Cape Cod Rabies Task Force asks that you leave it undisturbed if you find one. To learn more about oral rabies vaccine distribution, follow the Cape Cod and Southeast Rabies Task Force on Facebook. Up next, we go inside the Family Table Collaborative's new headquarters at the Riverway Lobster House in South Yarmouth.
Change the stars with our hands.
Welcome back to Cape Media News. I'm Gabrielle Rawson. The Family Table Collaborative is a nonprofit that creates nutritional security on Cape Cod and the islands by providing nutritious and delicious prepared meals for individuals and families. Since the start of the pandemic, they've operated as a pop-up, but now they finally have a place to call home. We met with Jenny Wheeler, co-founder of the collaborative, to learn about their new sustaining business model that's going to feed families and enrich Cape Cod's economy. Cape Media News reports.
Food security was an issue long before the pandemic. But when the need for food nearly doubled last year nationwide, Cape Codders launched into action. Meet Jenny Wheeler, who along with the Cape Cod Culinary Incubator and the American Culinary Federation of Cape Cod and the Islands, co-founded the Family Table Collaborative, a nonprofit whose mission is to create nutritional security by providing nutritious and delicious prepared meals directly to individuals and families.
We very much view prepared food as the bridge to healthier living. So we all know that we want people to eat more nutritious food, but you can't just assume that somebody knows what to do with a butternut squash. So what we want to do is take some of that food, prepare it for them, give it back to them with recipes, with spice packets, with instructions, build an educational bridge and a nutritional bridge to good, healthy food to hopefully walk people into a slightly better nutritional standing.
Currently, the Family Table Collaborative provides between 1,200 and 1,500 weekly meals. Looking ahead, they project those numbers will be closer to 5,000 to 8,000 a week, which is why they're taking over the Riverway Lobster House in South Yarmouth. Its huge kitchen, full bar, large dining space, and workforce housing will allow the collaborative to create a self-sustaining nonprofit that works to end hunger while also engaging the entire community.
When we say we're building a self-sustaining nonprofit, it means that every dollar that's spent that goes into profit in the building goes to support running the Family Table Collaborative. So you're helping an organization that's designed to feed Cape Cod. So when you come in and you buy local, you're helping local makers, you're helping the local economy, you're also helping feed all of Cape Cod and the islands.
In addition to using this space to prepare thousands of meals for the community each week, they'll also turn part of the Riverway's dining space into a cafe and maker's market.
So instead of a big, huge restaurant, we'll be running a cafe that focuses on breakfast and lunch several days a week, and it's made mostly with locally sourced ingredients. It's going to have a lot of vegetarian and vegan options. You're going to see a lot more kind of ethnic, I think, spicing and stuff that you don't necessarily see in a lot of places in Cape Cod. Also, in that cafe is going to be the maker's market. So people from all over Cape Cod who make local products, food products, are going to be able to sell them here. So it gives that local economy a little bit of a boost as well. And, it just so happens that it also might be a great thing for, tourists to stop by and pick up locally made food and help feed Cape Cod and the islands at the same time.
The Family Table Collaborative will also rent out their commercial kitchen to small businesses like the Green Vines Pickling Company.
This is a great opportunity for me to have a commercial space where I can make my pickles. I've been selling at local farmers markets and hope to expand that even more. And having the opportunity to have Maker's Market here in this space on the Cape is a great opportunity.
Community partners like Dave Ferraresi, owner of Gustari Oils and Vinegars, makes the collaborative's work possible.
Gustari in Italian means to taste, to enjoy, to savor, and basically we always say buy local, shop local, but give local as well. What Gustari is very excited about is not just providing olive oil that will help feed as many people on Cape Cod as possible, but we're also going to be one of the makers that will be able to support the initiative.
We're going to use Gustari oil in our tavern, in the food for the tavern, in the food for the cafe. We're going to use, Jim's pickles within our products that we produce in the cafe. So where our goal is to utilize not only makers that make their product in this building, but that are selling their product in our local makers market and allow an opportunity for more people to access local goods.
But owning the building outright comes with a hefty price tag. At $2 million, the collaborative will need to raise funds to purchase the building.
So the collaborative has entered in an arrangement with the Cisco family that we've entered a lease to purchase agreement. And that allows us the time to raise funds towards purchasing the building. So we are partnering with organizations like the United Way and the Cape Cod Foundation. We have gone out and are putting together a foundational team of funders. And then we're also going out to high net worth individuals that are interested in particularly playing in this space.
The Riverway Lobster House's rich history fills those who know it well with nostalgia. The collaborative wants to honor this legacy by creating a space that impacts Cape Cod for generations to come.
We're really focused on solving nutritional security on Cape Cod, and I believe that's a doable achievement. In this building, building a true community kitchen allows the legacy of this building to help Cape Cod for decades to come.
The Riverway Cafe and Makers Market will be open to the public by July 1st. The collaborative hopes to open their tavern by the fall. To learn more, visit FamilyTableCollaborative.com. In South Yarmouth, for Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
To learn more about the Family Table Collaborative, visit them online at FamilyTableCollaborative.com. Well, that brings this episode of Cape Media News to a close. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next time with a brand new episode. Until then, stay healthy. With Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.